Welcome to another episode of Morning Mojo with me, your host Shane Solomon. Today, joined on the sofa by two wonderful ladies I know pretty well, Sarah Whipp and Zoe Hobin. It's great to have you with us on Morning Mojo. Long time coming. So let's start off with some content, straight into it. I love getting straight into it. Business people choosing not to have babies.
Oh,
there you go.
There.
Look at that.
Favourite.
Do you ever get fed up with people? Because I get this, right? Where people, Shane, you're 42 now, 43 in May. Why are you having children?
All the time.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're not as old as you, so
Quite.
it's not quite
I'm
as
older
bad
than
for
Christ, all right?
You start going backwards now, surely.
But yeah, this actually does really frustrate, I think, both of us. For me, the main thing is kind of we're really respectful and good for you, kind of whatever you want to do in life, that's amazing. And I think we're all about kind of empowering women and your life choices. But yeah, when people kind of ask you questions like, when are you going to have a baby? Or you've not met the right person yet, or kind of say, you'll change your mind.
You'll change your mind.
Yeah, it's
when you get married.
Yeah. It is really
Can we hear the
disrespectful,
pitter-patters of little feet?
Yeah.
But it's like everyone's perception of what life should be like, right? It's the conditioning thing, I find, that kind of frustrates me because, our grandparents or great-great-grandparents got married and things like that. And it's like, and our parents got married and things like that.
And then
You're
you buy the
expected to get
house,
married,
and then
right?
And
then
then you
buy
have
your
the
house.
children, and then you...
And you're on this roller coaster treadmill.
Yeah.
And you're like, really? Because with business, I don't know about you ladies, but I get motivated by just life taking me wherever it could go and traveling and meeting different people.
Yeah.
And I just love that. I mean, what's your... I'm starting asking this question a lot for you, Sarah. What is the definition of success for you? What does it look like for Sarah?
I think it's all about kind of creating a life that makes you happy. And I think that happiness is kind of the ultimate goal. I feel like people get so kind of caught up on money and status, and those things were obviously great. But ultimately, if you can go to bed at night feeling happy and feeling like you're a good person and literally creating that life that you kind of enjoy waking up to, then I don't know how you could be any more successful.
You literally took the words right out of my mouth. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Just what she said.
And I think, this is going to be a boring podcast, isn't it?
No, it's not. It's great.
I think as well, my kind of thing is, this. I know it's a bit morbid, but what I don't want to do is get on my deathbed and be like, I should have done that. Why didn't I do this? Why did I go to bed at 12 o'clock? No one's going to remember the good night's sleep you had.
No, that's right. And that's the thing. Yeah. I'm terrible for sleep, but I'm just so excitable all the time.
Do stuff.
I'm just trying to do stuff. And sometimes I say, right, I'm going to have a random night in. That's the point, actually. I had a random night in the other night, all right? And Helen was working, so I was like, I'm in the house of my own. I went straight on social media and said, right, what's everyone doing tonight? I just couldn't stay in. I was just like, loads of options came into me. And and I went out and had a cracking time.
Good.
And met someone who was a songwriter, and we had great conversations.
Yeah.
I think that's the whole point, isn't it? Like all everyone should want to do in life is just do things that make them happy. And I think that can be different for everyone. And what makes me happy probably would make you happy, but lots of others. So,
and we shall talk about that in just a moment.
But I think, you just kind of have to realize that your life choices may not suit anyone else, but that's fine. You don't need to seek approval from anybody else. It's kind of all about something that sits right with you and a life, like I said before, that you want to create and you enjoy living. And if you can do that, I think we're so fortunate. Yeah. I think we kind of forget that sometimes, just like you kind of lose the sense of gratitude, and that you can kind of get up and do the things you want to do. You can kind of move your body, do whatever, do things that make you feel good and give you the feels. And that's kind of the ultimate goal. Yeah,
it's changing that mindset, isn't it? Saying like, I've got to get up and go to the gym. I've got to eat this salad to be healthy. No, actually, I get to go to the gym. I can eat this food. I can be healthy because I'm so fortunate to be able to.
So what motivates you each day then, Zoe? Because we'll get on to what you ladies do for work in just a minute, but what motivates you when you get up in the morning?
Ooh, I think it just all boils back down to just being happy and just doing things that make you feel good, and going out into the world and knowing that you're being the best version of yourself, really.
Okay.
That's it. It's pretty short, but...
And Sarah?
Yeah. I think my motivation, again, is kind of always striving to be happy, and I think I've spent time previously years ago where I wasn't very happy. So I think I'd never, ever allow myself to get back in that headspace. So I think when you kind of find things that you know are good for you and make you feel great and you're like super happy, it's almost like Georgia was saying before, it's almost like keeping that discipline to make sure you do those things. So you're helping yourself and then you're kind of motivated to make sure it's as cheesy as it sounds, like living your best life.
Yeah.
sometimes it is difficult though, isn't it? Because life isn't like all rainbows and unicorns. Let's be honest. It can chuck a few curveballs in there. But like Georgia said, is that pain is only temporary anyway, right? So these things, so it's how we move on with things and things like that. Let's talk about ladies in business, certainly here in Cornwall.
Yeah.
Because you two absolutely rocket the Cornwall Chamber, I've got to say, and you're hugely respected and you've done great work there. And since I joined, I've just seen huge growth with it. So how do you feel the kind of equality of, genders at the moment and ladies in business is working? I'll be interested on your thoughts because I think you're taking over. In a good way, by the way.
Yeah, I think there is still inequality in the sexes in Cornwall. We struggle still. Like from our point of view, we were talking about this earlier, weren't we? From our point of view, we still look around the room and see kind of 70% men and 30% women or so, and other genders. But from your point of view, you're sat there saying, well, no, we see it as there's more females there. But I don't know so we don't really know what's going on there.
I think probably your energy's more than the other 70% of males in there, perhaps. I don't know, but it certainly feels that,
I do think that there is still inequality, definitely kind of within the business community at a particular level. So we do get attendance and some events are kind of more female oriented than others. But I also do feel like there's been a shift because for me, it's all about confidence. And I think what I've noticed is like a generation, obviously like Georgia that we work with is 10 years younger than me. And I noticed such a huge difference compared to how I was at sort of 25, 26 is completely different. So I do think that a lot of it is kind of I feel like you're a product of your environment. And for me, just from joining the chamber, obviously I'm very lucky that Zoe is actually one of my best friends outside of work as well. But just I think when you're around people that kind of really motivate you and are super uplifting, like you were saying before, it's kind of just about pushing people as well. And the same with Georgia, like you like genuinely want her to do well. So when you're around that and you kind of, if you're the best version of yourself and you're kind of seeing that with other people, it kind of motivates you to do everything. So then you're showing up to these events and you're kind of being the best you can be. And I think that's where I kind of sometimes see that we do get female attendance, but maybe some of the females aren't maybe as confident in maybe like in a spotlight situation. So they kind of maybe take a bit of a backseat. And I'd love people to attend more events where they're kind of either in a speaking capacity or just have the confidence to kind of own the show a little bit and own the room and just hold their own. Because there's so many amazing women around that are actually in sort of really superior positions that are smashing life. But I feel like sometimes we don't maybe see that and they're doing amazing things behind the scene.
Yeah.
But, it would be great just to, exactly. And get to know people as well. Because we were having a conversation before and I think you want to work with people that are nice people. That's kind of that's a huge gain. Like, why would you not want to work with someone that's a lovely person? So you can also be talented and great at your job, but actually also be a lovely human being. Yeah. And you're going to get more business from that and just kind of enjoy life more.
Yeah, just be nice. I think for me, it's all just about being nice. And I think I read it or heard it somewhere in a podcast that we become like the average 5 people that we hang around with and choose to spend your time with. Yeah. So no wonder you both are successful, and radiating loads of good energy because so you spend up your good friends outside of work.
It's true, yeah.
So, you need that.
Yeah, that is so true.
Yeah, you definitely rub off in your environment. Yeah. I'm reading a book at the moment by Dr. Tara Swart on neuroplasticity, and that's exactly what it is. It's just about building your own environment to suit what you want out of life.
Do you know what? I shouldn't say. I shouldn't say this. No, I can't say this.
You can say
it. So since I've been going to London more, just to broaden my horizons, my mindset a little bit. And Cornwall is my home, and I'm very proud of Cornwall. I'm a big ambassador when I'm out of the county. But when I'm in let's say a bar and in fact I'm going to shout it out, Homegrown in Marylebone, private members club, don't you know, is quite an amazing place. And it's for entrepreneurs to go, and it's all private members club, but you can stay there, really nice accommodation, lovely bars, different rooms you can rent out and things. And the conversations I have in there are worlds apart from where I grew up, like 20 minutes away. And the conversations I have that I would never, ever have down here with my friends that I've played pool with for years, and I love them all dearly. But it's a different vibe. It's a totally different stimulation. Do I go back and see my mates and play pool with them? Of course I do. but I don't spend as much time with them as I used to, because I'm now gravitated to this kind of energy that's presented to me there. But then likewise, I brought that back here. Then I go to places and I meet people down here that it's just vibe, energy, right?
It just depends on which direction you want to go in.
I just want to go where the energy's good.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of the thing when I kind of use the phrase a lot about finding your people. And I think that is the difference. You've got friends and different, you meet people at different stages in your life for a reason. And I think a lot of us have friends that we went to school with, and they're amazing friendships, and we'll obviously be grateful for those. But I do feel as an adult, you kind of naturally gravitate towards people that are your people, and you just feel super comfortable with them. You just have fun with them.
Be yourself completely.
Exactly.
Unapologetically.
Yeah. And then they kind of bring out the best in you. And I think that's the same with any relationship. It's kind of, for me, whether it's like friendship or romantically or business, whatever it is, you kind of spend time with someone and then you both leave, you both feel like revitalized and re-energized. And it's kind of that scenario of like the radiator and the drain. You want to go, and you should be a radiator to your friends and to any sort of relationship. No one wants a drain, do they?
Yeah, that's right.
And obviously, but it's also okay, like you said before.
I've heard that before. I like that.
Well, you're not going to always be at your best.
Be the friend that's always moaning all the time.
But at the same time,
we've all got that friend that we
do.
Well.
Yeah, you should be able to do that with your friends.
But that's the difference,
the definition of the relationship.
Exactly, and I think that's the thing. Like when you do have down times and bad days, and everyone does, but you've got that friend that's always going to make you feel better and never going to judge you and like hear you out, but also be there to be like, okay, you're having a really rubbish time, but you've got this, get your trainers on, we're going for a run kind of thing. It's that kind of thing.
How many times?
But it's true, isn't it? Like you just kind of sometimes you can be supportive, but at the same time, being with your people, they kind of know how to best motivate you and kind of get you out of a dark spot and just help yourself a little bit. And I think really true friends aren't worried about kind of calling you out on things.
Yeah, it's like you said earlier, you can't pick your family, but you can pick your friends. Right. But I do feel like even in just like the past couple of years living in Cornwall, I think I've met some of my bestest friends that I've ever had in my life. So
no names.
No names.
I think there's a great saying that some people are here for a season and some are here for a reason. And that's nice.
That's nice.
And you think, that's quite true. You look at your life, people come and go, and there's others that kind of stay, and things are all great. So what do you do when things aren't working? I always like that question as well. So when things aren't going your way, Sarah?
I think for me, one thing that really helped me, so I had basically I had a few goals I wanted to achieve this year, and it was actually Georgia that told me to make a mood board. And initially I kind of thought, oh God, it sounds a bit cringe.
Yeah. Airy fairy,
rainbows, unicorns. But I did it. Yeah. And I genuinely feel like when you kind of put positive energy out into the universe, as sort of out there as it sounds, it's true. Like you do manifest things. And if you could still have a terrible day, but whether you go out with a terrible mindset or not, it's still going to be the same. So if you go out and at least think, no, today's going to be good, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, you've got way more chance of achieving that than just going out being miserable. So I think, just having that mood board for me kind of made me think, okay, these are the goals I want to achieve. And I've achieved 4 of them already. There's only 2 more to go. But I do feel like when it's a reminder and you're looking at, you can see that on your phone, you're kind of like, this is why I'm getting up every day. This is why I'm going to work. That's why I'm going to the gym. Just having those things there. Just always, for me, always having a goal helps. Like whether that's kind of like, I don't know, doing something for charity, like a half marathon or something like that. It's just keeping the discipline and making you get out and do stuff.
And on that board, was there anything to do with that beautiful dog that you have?
Oh, well, I mean, he's the love of my life. No, so I already got him, so he didn't make the board.
Right,
Beyonce on the horse, though.
See, right.
Yeah, Beyonce on the horse, because Beyonce's just got everything, hasn't she? She is just the powerhouse.
I've got a lot of time for that.
Yeah, but the idea behind it was that you wanted to get a horse.
Well, yeah, exactly.
And feel like Beyonce on the horse. So
basically, this is it. Yeah.
See, it works. It works.
I do think it does work.
And what about you, Zoe? When things aren't working?
I know in myself what I need to do to feel good. So I know that I need to be getting up early in the morning. I don't do good if I have to get out of bed at 8 o'clock and run around the house and I need to get out really quick. And no, I'm so much better if I can get up at, it's ridiculous and some people are going to be going, whoa, but I'm so much better if I get up at 5:30, go and do something in the morning, then have a proper breakfast, sit there and romanticize my breakfast and make porridge and be like, oh my God, this is amazing. And have the best morning, and having a really good morning is what gets me going in the morning. I find that when I start getting down, feeling down, then have a shit day, and then this, that, and the other, I'm tired, whatever. If I don't do those things in the mornings, that's when that starts to happen. And then you tumble and tumble and tumble. You get worse and worse and worse, then you're late for work, and that's what happens.
Spirals, right?
Yeah. So I have to pick myself back up and go, come on, back at 5 o'clock in the morning. It's horrible. You're waking everybody else up in the house. We don't care. This is for me.
Yeah.
I've got to sort
being
myself
accountable,
out.
isn't it?
Yeah.
You're kind of being accountable
It's
for
self-care.
your own stuff.
You've got to look after yourself. No one else is going to do it for you. So.
Yes.
And talking about looking after yourself, how do you ladies stay looking so good and beautiful when you've got busy careers? I mean, it makes me sick.
Makeup is a wonderful thing.
Do you have to work hard at it? You know, you pump in the gym, because I know that you're very good at your fitness and stuff, but you know,
she's my inspiration for getting back to the gym. I've always hated the gym, always. But recently, Sarah's been like, "Come on, Zoe, you can do it. You can do it."
I guess it's like, I guess because I don't do it, of course. But it's one of those things, once you start, it just feels good and you keep going.
It's kind of that thing where we said before. So at the beginning, obviously, you need some motivation. You start something with motivation, whether that's because you want to look better or lose some weight or feel better. You start off with that, and then you start seeing the results. So it doesn't have to be, I don't know, obviously like the aesthetic of it is great, but then you'll start seeing results that you feel better. And for me, it's an absolute game changer. Like I feel like a different person when I'm active. It doesn't have to be going to the gym, but just going for a walk. And then you kind of start being the best version of yourself, and then you perform better at work, you perform better for your friendships, your relationships. So I think, just actually moving your body, and it's the most simple thing to do. And it's hard sometimes because you can't be bothered and it's raining or whatever, but you'll never ever there'll never be a time where you don't feel better for doing it. Yeah.
I think initially mine going to the gym was for the aesthetics, like really vain. Oh, I want a better bum, I want this, I want that. Whereas like, and I completely lost interest in the gym really quickly. This was last year. And then recently I went to a class or something, and you had to like throw these weighted balls across the ceiling, and everyone else was doing it with so much ease. And I was like, I can't even do one. This is so embarrassing. And then I thought, what if I need to run away from something and climb a tree or anything? What if I need to get away from something and be strong in a very quick moment? I wouldn't be able to do it. And I was like, that's my motivation, is to get strong just in case.
And the confidence, like from doing
that. And it's for longevity as well. We were talking to Helen Tope from I Care I Move.
Oh, she's great.
Yeah, she's saying like, especially for women, like being strong.
Bone density.
Yeah, bone density all through your life is going to help you when you're older to become like the best version. So it's thinking about your future self, not just about what's going on now.
And in terms of like you saying about keeping young, it's almost like, I always say this all the time, but I do feel like 40s and you 30, 30s and you 20. So kind of anything you do now, like I think we're both quite similar in our lifestyles. We don't want to be, even as we get older, we want to kind of age well, but also still be active and still enjoy life and still travel and do all the fun things as we get older. So actually, when you start changing your mindset and looking at being active and eating well from, looking at kind of protecting your future, that's kind of a bit of a drive as well.
Yeah,
of course.
Some of my best friends are like into their 40s, like close to their 50th birthday, and they look better than me. And they're having a better life, and they're doing stuff that's incredible. And you're just like, that's what I want to get to.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that then. So what does the future look like, for both of you? We won't talk about work because work can always change and things, but just in general, are you going to always be in Cornwall? You're going to travel around? Where do you see it? Just like a 5-year plan, 10-year plan, whatever you want to go with. Sarah?
You go first, yeah.
I think for me, I have a lot of things that I love doing outside of work. So one of my kind of main things is horses. Like I'm obsessed with horses. So I have like a huge goal to get to grassroots, which is like a badminton qualifier thing. I would love to do that within 5 years. That'd be amazing. But I think also the main thing is just to literally keep in the same headspace. So I've never been as content as I am now and genuinely as happy as I am. So I think I just want to make sure that I really discipline with that and do all the things that make me feel good. I do have some kind of professional goals as well. But I just want to kind of, as cheesy as it sounds, I just literally want to every year feel like I've done well, done as best I can. And like I said before, I think going to bed feeling like you're a good person and things sit right with you is kind of the ultimate best feeling.
Absolutely.
I just want to continue that.
Love that. Zoe?
So mine is, I've just started a course, which means like hopefully if I do well, which I will.
You will.
See it here, hold it here.
Yeah, remember? I've got it in my hands. 5-year plan would be have my own business doing that. I actually did, down to George's advice again. She gave me a visualization meditation thing, and I looked at myself in 10 years time, and you like meet your future self, and future Zoe was like, Zoe, it's consistency is key. So that's what I'm kind of just going for at the moment, is at least in 5 years time, hopefully have this business that I've got a plan for, and just be happy.
Yeah.
And just to wrap up then, just talking about the chamber for a moment and women in business, how can we get more women involved, younger, older, What can we do? What,
I
to
think,
encourage that?
well, one huge thing that I've really noticed, I said before, I touched upon the kind of different generations. So I've been heavily involved with the 30 under 30 this year, and I've absolutely loved it. I think it's all about us kind of making people feel empowered and confident enough to kind of put themselves forward. So obviously you can do that yourself, but also I think I'd love to see employers bringing along somebody that's younger within their organisation, whether that's an apprentice or somebody that's maybe just joined the organisation, but just really pushing the younger person, because it is honestly like the best feeling when you kind of see somebody that you're working with that is younger than you, that maybe lacks in certain skills or areas just because they haven't had the same experience, like pushing them to attend things and do better. Like it's like the best feel good factor. So I think, just trying to help people feel more confident and like I say, encourage employers to get other people to come along. And also just, I think when you get to know people, it's always scary putting yourself out of your comfort zone, but it's one of the best things to do. So if you kind of feel nervous about walking into a room full of people, go and do something scary. Like we recently went roller skating.
Oh no, that is scary.
And it was really scary, but I honestly feel like you do something like that and you feel like an idiot when you're doing it, but it's almost like once you do that and you put yourself out your comfort zone, you can kind of do anything.
Yeah.
So like, you might be uncomfortable for 5 minutes going to your first networking, but then you'll be sat, I guarantee you'll be sat with someone that's really nice and you start chatting with them and you never know where that conversation is going to lead. Like everything in life, and particularly in Cornwall, is kind of down to who you know.
Always.
And I feel like your paths always cross. So just literally putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
You've got nothing to lose.
Getting more women into the chamber would be really good. I think women support women. Obviously, men support everybody as well. That's great. But there is this like
I love
thing
women.
with
I think
women
are great.
we all just come together. So seeing more women in the chamber would be great because we can all support each other.
I think asking questions as well.
Yeah.
So we had a conversation with Kirsty recently, who we work with, who we absolutely adore, and she is literally like bossing life. As in, she's got 2 young children. She works full time, and she's amazing at her job.
And she's just done a full CIPD for HR alongside a full-time job.
Wow.
And having a family and having a social life, getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning, reading her books. She's incredible.
Reminds me, I've got to book her into the Aqua Club.
She does deserve it.
She did message me actually.
But she is amazing. But it's almost like just ask the question. So like, there's certain things that she couldn't do in like time-wise with events because she has to do the school drop-off. But there's other things that she could do, and I think it's just having like an appreciation of someone's day. Like there's things that I have to do in my day. And that's not kids, but with like horses or with whatever else, and with training, that things are important to you. But like Kirsty's amazing at having that respect for you, and you have the respect back. So I think just ask the question sometimes. Like we can't relate to someone that has young children, but kind of just ask them about it, and see if there's any way you can kind of help to get them involved, or just ask the question.
Yeah, and always just come to us with new ideas. We love new ideas, doing different things. We're going to be doing some collabs as well with some women-only groups as well, which is going to be really fun.
Yes.
So hopefully that'll.
Well, the Chamber's very lucky to have you.
They are.
Seriously. They are. And you add such great value. Your energy is infectious. And that's what we want, as members. You want that as representation. Well, look, ladies, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you both in here. Now, is there anything I haven't asked you about that you'd like to get across in this moment that we have together?
Ooh.
Is there anything that...
I don't know.
I think the only thing I would say is that I'm still having conversations with people that are kind of new to the chamber, that aren't maybe a member but are thinking about it. And I think it's the same for me when I first started. I remember like kind of Googling it, thinking, oh God, is it like, and I had that vision of men, grey suits, in their 50s, thinking, I'm not sure if am I going to fit in there? I'm not sure. But it's so far from that. And I think for me, I've been there for 3.5 years, and the culture is like drastically different. And I think our culture and our beliefs and everything we do it's so broad,
so inclusive as well of everybody.
It's not a stuffy kind of event where you kind of sit in the corner and no one speaks. Like we do things around like well-being, but also there is like the corporate element as well. And we kind of, Kim always says about, it's always networking with purpose. And I do feel like everything we do, all the events we do, are purposeful. We kind of try and put something together so that people leave with some real like actual positive takeaways. I think it's just that thing, we are really friendly, and if you're kind of a bit scared to come to something, just message us. We'll come and help you in. But I do think it's very different to maybe I think things have improved a lot and the culture has changed, but there's still that misconception of, is it a bit stuffy, when it's far from it.
Yeah, but then that relies on members like myself and that, to make sure we tell people that it's not,
Exactly.
That's how you're going to
it's
get
getting
the message
across.
No offense, no printed material is going to put across how people love people's recommendations, don't they? So,
of course.
and I've brought people into the chamber. There's members of the chamber that are there because I told them that it's a great, you know.
I think as well, like seeing
network.
people that are inspiring is amazing. There's someone that was a previous 30 under 30 winner, Lexi Williams, and I feel like I'm a bit of a fangirl of hers. Like she's just amazing. Like she was a speaker for a next gen event of ours, and honestly, I was just mesmerised when she was talking. And it's almost like when you're around that and you see someone at the top of their game, I find it super inspiring. I'm like, I want to be like her. And I think that's maybe we hope that a lot of people come to our events and kind of take that away with them.
Yeah.
And there's no reason why can't you do what they're doing?
Yeah, sure. Exactly.
You know.
And also, I mean, if anybody fancies being the new CEO.
Do you know what? I was just about to say, I want to be like Kim Conchi. You know, that's what I want to be.
Well,
I'm not sure you can handle us, to be honest,
it would be amazing if we had some incredible women.
But you know what? Big shoes to fill, though, because Kim has been, you know, great.
Yeah. And he is,
he is incredible. And he has been, he's just been the best CEO for us.
I mean, to be fair, to manage a group of, what are we now, 7 females? The guy's got the patience of a saint. But again, you know, even for his generation, he is very good. He will always ask your opinion. He'll always ask all of us kind of what we think about things. You know, it doesn't matter kind of what our role is or experience. He genuinely wants to hear from us, which is really, really important from a CEO. And we really appreciate that. But it would be nice to have maybe female, real female.
That'd be something. But
yeah,
Kim, he's a very humble man, to be fair. And for someone, I think a lot of people join the gym but don't actually realise his credentials.
And
his kind of
and he's got a great sense of humour.
He has.
He is.
It's very important.
He's brilliant.
You need that with us.
Been very lucky.
So you have been watching the Kim Conchi Appreciation Show. But no,
he deserves the time off though. God bless him. He's been working for so long.
Yeah,
he deserves to get on that boat and have some fun.
Indeed. Right, well, there we go. We'll wrap up this podcast. I could keep talking to these ladies forever, but thank you so much, as always, to Mr. J. Kennett for producing this podcast for me. I do appreciate it a lot, mate. Thank you very much. And for every one of you who've watched one of these podcasts and share it, like it, love it, thank you very much indeed. And who knows, hopefully I'll be interviewing you very, very soon. But as always, make sure you have the most amazing remainder of your day. And for myself and these very glam ladies from the Cornwall Chamber of Commerce, Sarah and Zoe, we'll see you soon. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.